Learn about performing convolution and removing trend of a signal today. So first thing is we need to find the impulse response of a signal for doing convolution. So what is meant by impulse responses? The output whenever the input is a delta function. So our first system is y of n is 1 by 3 of x of n plus x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. So if we place instead of x of n delta of n, we are going to get 1 by 3 at n equals to 0, 1 and 2. Similarly, in the second system, we are going to get 1 by m for all the values when k equals to 0 and m minus 1. And for the third system, we are going to get 1 at n equals to 0 and minus 1 at n equals to 1. Similarly, for the fourth system, we are going to get 1 by 2 at n equals to 0 and minus 1 by 2 at n equals to 2. So for convolution, we have to take the input signal and convolve it with the respective impulse responses. So we were given 4 signals, but first, in order to perform convolution, we have described one function here, like y equals to c of x, comma h, where x is the input signal and h is the output signal, impulse response, this corresponding impulse response of our input signal. And we know the length of the output signal is going to be, length of input signal plus length of impulse response minus 1. And we have initialized our convoluted signal with completely zeros from 1 to n. And then we know for convolution the formula is sigma k equals to 0 to n x of k h of n minus k. So we have taken here k value is from 1 to n, not from 0 to n minus 1. So we have to add n minus k plus 1. And this function, let us compare it with the MATLAB's built-in function CONV. And if we run it, see, we are getting the similar plots for both of them. That means our function is true. And now we have to perform the convolution for all the 4 systems and for all these 4 signals. I mean, with 4 signals, this unit impulse responses of these 4 systems, we have to do convolution. So coming to the first signal, its impulse response is 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3, and we loaded all the 4 signals here and we are performing the convolution. And now if we plot them, see, so these are basically the convoluted signals and these are the signals before doing convolution. So if you look keenly look at them, here you can see we are getting only the low frequency part of the signal and all the high frequency part we are not getting. That means the system, it is passing only the low frequency parts of the signal. So we can call system 1 as a low pass filter. It is passing only the low frequency parts of the signal. And coming to system 2, again, if you compare keenly, better than system 1, here you can see it is passing all the low frequency parts of the signal, and even this has become more smoother when compared to our input signal. So this is also a low pass filter, or system 2. System 3, I have done the same thing, like taking the impulse response as 1 minus 1 and loaded all the 4 signals and did the convolution for them. So if you see here, all the high frequency things are being passed through this system. That means it is passing only high frequency things. That is, it is acting as a high pass filter. Our system 3 is acting as a high pass filter. And same we did for system 4. We took the impulse response as 1 by 2, 0, minus 1 by 2, and we did the convolution with all the 4 signals. And this is also passing all the high frequency parts of the signal. That means it is also acting, see, if you can see, it is passing all this. So this is also acting as a high pass filter. And now to remove the trend. Removing trend is nothing but from the input signal we are removing the convoluted part of the signal. So first we will load our signal. You can load all the 4 of those signals. You can load one signal, and for getting impulse response, you take some input m, and our impulse response for that will be h equals to 1 by m, all ones from 1 to m. And then you are performing the convolution. I already described the function for it. This function we are using, and we are doing the convolution for both these signals. And then for removing trend, we have to remove the convoluted signal from the actual input signal. So our actual input signal, we have to change the length of this array so that we can subtract the convoluted part from it. So here we have added extra zeros for remaining part of the signal, remaining length of the signal. And then we have taken another variable a, which will be after removing the trend. That I have taken as input signal minus this convoluted part of the signal for each I values. And then we plotted it. It is asking the value of m. So if you give m's value as 200, see, you're getting the signal. Right? All this range, all of them are not in the same range, but they have come together to come in a single line. And if you change the value of m, like if you again run it, and if you change the value as 100, see, they are not in the same range before, but after doing the subtraction, we are getting all of them in the same. Like this is nothing but removing trend of a signal. And now we have to learn the different properties of a signal, like all the 4 systems we have taken here, they will be having, see, all of them, looking at them, we can say all of them are depending on the past output. So all these are nothing but memory systems, and they are causal, as they are not depending on future, but they are depending on the past output. So all of them are causal and memory. That means they are dynamic. And also, see here we have did addition. So they are both linear, as they can be, they are following both homogeneity and superposition, like 1 by 3 also we are doing. So they are both linear, and also any delay in time in the input will also be a delay in time for the output. So this is time invariant and linear. And also if you look at the impulse responses, all of them are finite, so it will be an FIR system. That's all about all the properties of the signals. Thank you.